Tonight, Australian tourists warned they'll be forced to take random drug tests in Bali.
I'm on a holiday, so, don't really want to be hassled for a urine test or anything like that.
A lonely ordeal for a young Australian model caught with ecstasy. Michelle Leslie's parents can't face visiting her in prison.
Not that they don't love her any less.
Plans to use satellites to track pedophiles on parole as a community lashes out when a convicted child molester moves in.
And why put him here? He touched kids, you're a sick unit.
Hello, I'm Tracy Spicer. Welcome to 10's Late News. Also tonight, 15,000 people get the chance to walk under the heart of Sydney. Researchers reveal Viagra's surprising side effects that could save lives.
Young women came to pharmacies and wanted to have Viagra a few times per day.
And it's not child's play. Competitors get serious at the National Rock, Paper, Scissors Championships. But first tonight, the drug crackdown in Bali. Australian tourists are facing random drug tests and will be forced to submit urine samples. The news comes as Australian model Michelle Leslie faces another lonely night behind bars. Michelle Leslie is not likely to be visited in jail by her Adelaide-based parents Albert and Violet. According to the model's best friend, they're staying away. The ordeal's simply too painful.
Not that they don't love her any less, or it's to protect them really. It's just to protect them from the emotional trauma of what to see someone in this situation. It's horrible, absolutely horrible.
Nora Cullen has been acting as a liaison between family and friends. She says the 24-year-old is doing well, despite being held by police after ecstasy was allegedly found in her handbag. Her arrest was part of a well-publicised anti-drugs campaign on the tourist island and across Indonesia. And she's the latest in a spate of Australians to be arrested on drugs charges. Bali Drug Squad Chief Colonel Bang Bang Sugiarto recently announcing more police will force tourists in Bali night spots to submit urine samples for random drug tests. Holidaymakers say it's a humiliating prospect.
Wouldn't be happy. Wouldn't be happy at all. I'm on a holiday, so, don't really want to be hassled for a urine test or anything like that.
Tourists are now calling on Indonesian authorities to focus on homegrown dealers notorious for pushing their wares. Most agree they must abide by Indonesian law.
If you're going to do it over here, you got to face the penalties, I guess, and you got to go by their rules.
Foreign Minister Alexander Downer says the crackdown has been a gradual process and denies the opposition's calls for increased travel warnings.
I don't think the problem is access to travel advisories. I think the question is a quite different question. It's that Australians shouldn't take risks.
Colonel Sugiarto is adamant the campaign is for the good of both countries. In Bali, Martine Griffiths, 10 News. And lawyers for the Bali Nine are now questioning the legality of their arrests. The alleged drug mules were detained at Denpasar Airport in April over the possession of 8.3 kilos of heroin. Lawyers are considering whether the Australians were actually on Indonesian soil when the arrests occurred, arguing federal police should have stepped in.
They have access to lawyers and they'll be able to put up a defence in the normal course of events.
The Bali Nine trials are expected to begin next month. Well, thousands of Americans are fleeing their homes, jamming highways around New Orleans as Hurricane Katrina heads for the coast. The storm has been upgraded to a Category 5, capable of causing catastrophic damage with winds of up to 260 kilometres an hour. Residents in New Orleans desperately boarding up homes and businesses.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a test. This is the real deal. As of right now, New Orleans is definitely the target for this hurricane. And we want you to not panic, but we want you to take this very seriously.
Katrina formed in the Bahamas and ripped through South Florida, killing 9 people. A Palestinian suicide bomber has blown himself up at a crowded bus station in Israel. 21 people were wounded, 2 critically. It's the first bombing since Israeli forces completed the withdrawal of Jewish settlers from the Gaza Strip.
We are not surprised there are groups and individuals who are trying to frustrate the process of peace.
Israeli Prime Minister Ariel Sharon is also battling a family scandal. His son is facing corruption charges, accused of hiding millions of dollars in donations for his father's political campaign to get around laws setting limits on party fundraising.
Well, get set for more tax cuts before the next election. The major parties are racing to offer relief for high and middle income earners.
For months, the opposition has been calling for more tax cuts for low-income earners. Now it's confirmed it will offer relief for all taxpayers at the next election as part of an overhaul of the entire system.
We need to reduce the rates, we need to reduce the concessions and deductions, we need to make it simpler and fairer for everybody.
Labor also says the Howard government is the only one of the past three that hasn't changed the top tax rate. But even the PM has hinted he's changing his mind.
I'm asked in isolation, do I think it's too high and does it cut in too early? I say yes, yes.
Liberal MP Malcolm Turnbull has drawn up his own plans for reform and agrees with Labor the cuts must go further than the top end of town.
A tax reform has got to deliver tax cuts across the board.
Both Malcolm Turnbull and Labor agree the best way to pay for the tax cuts is to also reduce concessions at the same time. That could mean cutting payments like family benefits for high-income earners, so the budget bottom line is barely affected.
Ideally, nobody should be a net loser, but you have a much simpler and more efficient tax system, and that's the objective.
But Labor also wants more scrutiny of the government's budget figures. It's calling for an independent body to examine the books, saying the existing Charter of Budget Honesty is a joke.
It's turned into a charter of budget trickery.
The government says it will look at the proposal, but says Labor hasn't been upfront with its own costings during the past three elections. Laurel Irving, 10 News.
At least 2 states are planning to use satellites to track pedophiles on parole. Serial offenders will be forced to wear electronic bracelets so authorities can monitor every move they make. It comes as vigilantes targeted a family home in Victoria following reports a convicted child molester had moved in after being released from a Perth prison.
Shattered glass, the mark of a community lashing out. Vandals attacked this home in the outer suburbs of Melbourne because they believed convicted child molester Charles Allen Smith was staying there with relatives.
Get rid of him. It's wrong. You know, they shouldn't put him where kids are.
You can walk to probably 6 schools in this area within 5 minutes. I mean, this is a small town, Sunbury. And why put him here?
You touch kids, you're a sick unit and shouldn't be let her out, that's it, bottom line.
But the pedophile's family has told 10 News he's not living with them in Sunbury. He's in another Melbourne suburb. The location is being kept secret. Despite community anger, the State Corrections Department says there are no plans to return him to Western Australia. Just last week, pedophile Otto Darcy Searle was put back in a Perth prison after angry residents forced him out of his parents' home in northern New South Wales. New South Wales and Queensland have now reviewed their parole exchange programs, refusing to become dumping grounds for pedophiles. Moves are now underway to trial electronic tagging devices using satellites to track child sex offenders' every move.
It's a hell of a good tool to know where these people are, and especially if they're going towards areas where there are kids' playgrounds and schools. It is something that we should investigate and use to make sure community safety comes first.
The most serious sex offenders are expected to be wearing the bracelets by the end of the year. Kelly Morgan, 10 News.
A Melbourne man is being hailed a hero after catching his wife and 2 children when they jumped from their burning home. The house was gutted, but everyone escaped with just the pyjamas on their backs.
Everyone pitched in to help, but their efforts proved futile, flames devouring the home within minutes. The family of 4 woken by a blaring smoke alarm after having earlier checked an unusual smell downstairs.
It took hold very quickly, and within probably 5 minutes, the whole house was up and ablaze.
Dennis Luke, an instant hero, managing to escape, he called on his wife and 2 children to jump from an upstairs bedroom.
And they climbed out the window and they had to jump into my arms down on the ground because there's a bit of a ledge. So they stood on the ledge and I said, right, I'm directly underneath you, just jump.
And they did.
Miracle man. Good on him. It was just the kids weren't too sure whether they should jump, but they knew that they were in safe hands.
The family has lived in the home for the past 18 years. Fortunately, the house was insured, the estimated damage bill in excess of $250,000. Having lost everything, locals are rallying, gathering food and clothes for the family, now counting their blessings.
We're out, we're safe, we're lucky.
The Lukes hoping others learn from their example and ensure you have a working smoke alarm.
If you're watching this right now, do yourself a favour, go and check your smoke alarms. because this can happen to anybody.
Alan Ruskell, 10 News.
3 teenage boys have been charged over an alleged arson attack at an exclusive girls' school in Queensland. Police say the blaze started in a science block at Ipswich Girls' Grammar west of Brisbane late Friday night. The fire caused $10 million damage. The boys, one aged 13 and 2 14-year-olds, were arrested last night. They were granted bail and will face Children's Court next month. A special treat for 15,000 Sydney-siders, the first and only chance to walk under the heart of the city. The historic event marks the opening of the Cross City Tunnel, a new tollway which will cut travel times but hurt the hip pocket.
It was a new tourist attraction open for one day only, a chance to walk through the $680 million Cross City Tunnel. The 2.1 kilometre motorway bypasses 34 sets of traffic lights, cutting a trip from Darling Harbour to the eastern suburbs from 20 minutes to just 2. How does it feel to walk under Sydney?
It's great actually, because there's no cars. Last time we can do it before the cars come.
My grandfather was one of the first people to cross the Harbour Bridge, so I thought I'd come and walk through the tunnel.
The opening ribbon was cut with the same scissors used to officially open the bridge back in 1932. Veronica Knock was there that day and at 87 years of age decided to make another historic walk. And how does this feel today compared to the Harbour Bridge?
Oh, I'm great. I'm a little bit puffed, but I haven't been too good, but yeah, I'm okay.
Also puffing were thousands of others, ensuring a steady flow for most of the day. They made a gold coin donation to the Salvation Army for the privilege, but motorists will have to cough up more than $3.50 each way. There's no toll booths either, just electronic sensors, and cars without an e-tag will pay more than $8 for a single trip. The tunnel opens to traffic just before midnight tonight and will be fully operational for morning peak hour. That's when experts predict Sydney will experience some of its worst ever traffic jams. That's because of several key road closures in the CBD, effectively herding cars into the tunnel.
There are obviously teething problems, as there always will be, as there were with Olympic infrastructure, and they're managed.
Don't judge this project on the first day or first week of operation.
Dan Nolan, 10 News.
The search for clues after a deadly plane crash in Sydney. Stars in the firing line as a gunman shoots a rap heavyweight. Plus Viagra's surprising side effect that could save lives.
Young women came to pharmacies and wanted to have Viagra 3 times per day.
It's here, the all-new Jeep Grand Cherokee. Its Hemi V8 can unleash 240 kilowatts of power, yet can deactivate 4 cylinders to conserve fuel. Its advanced suspension system and electronic stability program give it its best on-road performance ever. Then there's its second-generation quadra-drive system for off-road, because underneath it all, it's still a Jeep.
Education and training have made an important contribution to the life in our community, and our primary students are at the forefront of our future growth. Spell It 2005 will promote spelling, public speaking, reading comprehension and the pursuit of academic excellence to an audience of more than 500 primary school students. It'll be held on Monday, August 29 at the University of Ballarat from 10 a.m. till 1 p.m. Spell It 2005 is proudly brought to you by McDonald's, Department of Education and Training, the City of Ballarat and the Courier.
You can't always be there to make sure kids do what they should, like eating something good at recess. But with Kellogg's LCM's Rice Bubbles, having the goodness of puffed grains of white rice, less than 10% fat and no artificial colours, you don't have to be there, because kids just love them. LCMs!
You're watching 10's Late News. The wreckage of a light plane which crashed off Sydney's northern beaches has been dragged to the surface. Divers have recovered the wings and fuselage, and investigators will start examining the wreckage to work out why the plane plunged into the ocean, killing the pilot. Millionaire businessman Damien Colbert was performing aerobatics when his month-old plane crashed in front of horrified family and friends. Police believe the 54-year-old may have lost control during an inverted roll. The battle over Iraq's constitution continues, even though a final version of the draft has finally been presented to Parliament. The Constitutional Committee posed for photos to mark the occasion after weeks of painstaking negotiations. But it's still unclear whether this draft will be the one put forward to the public in a referendum planned for October. Delegates from the Sunni minority are still objecting to the wording, calling it the American Constitution. And Americans for and against the war in Iraq have come face to face outside President Bush's ranch in Texas.
Outside the president's Texas ranch, thousands are locked in a war of words. This battle began 3 weeks ago with one California mum protesting the war after losing her son in Iraq. Dozens of grieving military families joined Cindy Sheehan, showing they too have lost faith in the US-led action in Iraq.
We're doing it in memory of our children whose lives were stolen from them, but we're doing it for the ones who are still in harm's way.
But this weekend, a counter-protest. Hundreds of war supporters riding in for a showdown. Led by Deborah Johns, whose son returned from Iraq alive.
By God, us parents are going to stand united as the majority voice and say, Cindy Sheehan, you don't speak for us.
But it seems more and more Americans are siding with Cindy. The president's approval rating has now fallen to an all-time low of 40%. Mr. Bush again today urging Americans to be patient.
Our efforts in Iraq and the broader Middle East will require more time, more sacrifice and continued resolve.
In the United States, Rani Sadler, 10 News.
Rap music heavyweight Marion Suge Knight has been shot at a celebrity-studded party hosted by hip-hop star Kanye West on the eve of this year's MTV Awards. Knight, the boss of Death Row Records, is in a stable condition after being shot in the leg at a Miami club. Witnesses told police partygoers began screaming and running for the doors when a gunman opened fire in the VIP section. Knight spent 5 years behind bars for assault and weapons violations after his pioneering rap label hit the charts with artists Snoop Dogg and Tupac Shakur, who was killed in a drive-by shooting. Police are yet to name any suspects. Viagra has already saved the sex lives of many men, and now the little blue pill is being used to tackle other health problems.
Viagra has been sold as a saviour for sex lives. Now it might well be saving lives, full stop. German researchers today revealing how the little blue pill is helping treat pulmonary hypertension.
This is a big step forward because this would indeed mean a step forward to cure the disease. It is not yet cured. It is ameliorated, it is improved by this drug, but this is a step in the right direction.
High blood pressure in the lungs is responsible for at least 10% of heart-related deaths worldwide. Scientists have discovered Viagra successfully inhibits enzymes, allowing for dilation of vessels.
So here's something that came up totally by surprise that scientists can go, well, let's try that, and it's worked.
Clinical trials included a Mount Everest study where mountaineers armed with Viagra were protected from lung problems at high altitude. Thousands of patients are already using the treatment across Europe and the US, and it's not just men who can benefit.
It was in the initial days a little bit surprising when young women came to pharmacies and wanted to have Viagra 3 times per day.
For men, though, side effects commonly associated with the use of the drug remain. Research is about to begin locally, but the rebadged drug known as Ravaggio has yet to be cleared for use here. Frank Coletta, 10 News.
A fright for a couple on their way to church as the road collapses beneath them. Humans take over the bear enclosure at London Zoo. And it's not child's play. Competitors at the National Rock, Paper, Scissors Championships fight it out for a chance to represent Australia.
They said my truck wouldn't handle the extra thick load. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Extra thick. It's not just soft, it's thick.
Ballarat
Ballarat Rockwork stonemasons add beauty, character and value to your home when you select nature's own granites and marbles for your bench tops. Or there's the clean lines and stunning styles of composite stones. And it's all available at Ballarat Rockwork stonemasons.
Whatever your decorative style, Taylor & Sterling have the curtains and blinds to express your personality. Window furnishings are an integral part of the look in any home. Add comfort, quality and value to your home with Taylor & Sterling blinds.
Lighting can transform the colour, mood and ambience of your home. Create the effects you're looking for with help from the experts at Dynamic Lighting. They offer more than just lighting, they provide lighting solutions. Dynamic Lighting, 70 Lava Street, Warrnambool.
Don't lift heavy garage doors any longer. At Ballarat and District Garage Doors, they can motorise them. They'll even automate gates for added convenience and security. Enhance the appearance of your home. Call Ballarat and District Garage Doors, your local B&D accredited dealer.
With hair colour, it's just like with men. It's all in the mix.
Live Salon Permanent with Colour Mix technology. Mixed for iridescent colour at home. Live Salon Permanent from Schwarzkopf. Professional hair care for you.
A shock for a couple on their way to church as the road collapsed under their car in Adelaide. Faulty pipes have been blamed. The city's waterworks also gave other residents a nasty surprise.
An unexpected deluge on an otherwise dry winter's night.
As you can see, that's where it was.
A half-metre high river rushing through 5 homes after a water main burst nearby.
And I looked down and to my amazement, it was just a mass of water just going through everywhere.
Unable to stop the torrent, residents quickly salvaged what they could.
Just so much water coming through. You couldn't stop it. Sandbagging wouldn't have stopped it.
Friends and neighbours on hand this morning to help tackle the muddy mess. This little terrier not sure what the fuss was about.
He was actually swimming from the carport to the front. That's how deep the water was. He was swimming.
Faulty pipes were also to blame for another damp disaster this morning. A couple on their way to church stopped suddenly by the road collapsing beneath their car.
We saw this water flowing, but we didn't realise that we are going to go into the hole.
A wayward shoe and a repair bill their only concern.
My husband's slippers went away somewhere, one, and now he has gone in search of it.
Emily Rice, 10 News.
One of the most dangerous members of the animal kingdom has gone on display at a London zoo. 8 humans have taken over the bear enclosure to show how Homo sapiens impact on the environment. The volunteers have been quick to adapt to their new home, adopting some distinctive animal grooming techniques.
I picked a few fleas out of one of their hairs. I found a ladybird as well in one of their heads and had a little bit of a nibble.
The experiment will last 4 days. A favourite schoolyard game is making a big comeback. Hundreds of competitors lined up for the national rock, paper, scissors titles on the Gold Coast and the chance to represent Australia.
It's the greatest game of all. Well, according to this lot it is. Rock, paper, scissors, also known as Jan, Ken, Pon in Japan, Schnick, Schnack, Schnuck in Germany, and Ching Chong Chow in South Africa.
It's massive. Like that World Champs last year had over 1,000 competitors that verged on Toronto, Canada.
The theory is simple enough. Rock beats scissors, scissors beats paper, and paper beats rock. But with the top guns of RPS in Australia coming together for the national title, the stakes are high and the pressure is intense. Opinions vary on what makes a champion. Is it psychological or all in the wrist?
There is a bit of mind games, I think. You can put the other person off.
You can get your signs for sure. While it may seem like child's play to some, for others it's a way of life. Used to settle the simplest of arguments, from who'll do the washing up to who'll get the pizza. Then there's the hardcore exponents. One amazing story coming from Japan.
$25 million worth of artwork, couldn't decide between Sotheby's or Christie's who would basically auction it off. Made them play a straight out one game of RPS.
The winner of tonight's final wins a trip to Canada in October to compete at the 4th RPS World Championships. Andrew Lay, 10 News.
Well, there were plenty of thrills and spills at the Australian Snowboarding Championships in Victoria. Falls Creek hosting the spectacular snow show. Riders were judged on a series of daring manoeuvres, including balancing down handrails and jumping through the air. While most high flyers executed their treacherous tricks with ease, some were quickly brought back to earth with a thud. The weather's next. Then it's sports tonight with Ryan Phelan. And Ryan, the makeup of the AFL finals is complete.
Yes, Tracy, what an intriguing final round it was, with the all-important 8th spot up for grabs in today's games, as well as a chance at a home final. Although Geelong had to fight for their home semi, winning by a point over a gallant Richmond.
Gary Jr. completes the deal.
We'll show you another slashing innings from tail-ender Brett Lee as the Aussies struggle in the 4th test. And the newer, scarier Harker from the All Blacks. Today's sport is next.
Okay, go across the bridge here, and across the eye, make some more off there. That's actually quite a lot off.
Save $100 off glasses and prescription sunglasses at OPSM.
OPSM. I mean, I've definitely had my fair share of bad haircuts. The really, really short fringe, and then the wispy fringe, and the whole waiting for it to grow out thing. But what I've discovered is use Pantene. It keeps it healthy, it keeps it strong, so you need fewer trims, and it can grow back faster. 3 months ago, my hair was probably up to here. It's grown a lot. So I think Pantene really helps. Of course, now my hairdresser complains I don't go in enough, but c'est la vie. Prove it to yourself.
Do you want to be a pilot? Sharp Airlines will be holding an information day on September 11. The traineeship program has produced pilots for Qantas, Virgin and Cathay Pacific. It provides graduates with 12 months work experience and 500 hours of aeronautical experience.
TXU is now called